Okay, welcome to CTE for beginners only. So here we have the cue ball. In CTE, you're pretty much aiming center cue ball. So when you're aiming, you could point to the center, and then you're going to go to the left or to the right of the center point. So when you're aiming, you're actually going to aim from a half tip offset, right there, to the left or to the right of the dot. And that's pretty much where you're going to aim at the aim lines. Once you establish the aim lines, then you're going to come back to the stick, to center cue ball, and then hit it straight in. So what we have here right now is the pretty much a bridge length from your cue ball to the object ball. So if your object ball is about a foot away, your bridge length to the cue ball is going to be a short distance. If the object ball distance is longer, you're going to extend that distance from your bridge hand to the cue ball. I generally use around 5 to 7 inches on most shots, but it can vary, so just take a look at the sheet, get an idea of where you need to be placed. Don't forget, it's very important that you have your left leg behind the cue ball, your posture should be straight, your arm should swing like a pendulum on the backhand, so your shots are straight. The position and stance is extremely important, probably more important than anything else. So here we have what the object ball would look like. When you're facing the object ball, now I tend to use the object ball facing the pocket. So there's ABC lines is 15, 30, and 45 degrees. That's the angle of the ball to the pocket. So when you're doing a deep cut, you're going to use 45 degrees, and if you see there's a 1/8 marker on both sides, that's for very deep cuts. The stripes indicate on the left side stripe, you see that edge, that's 15, 30 in the middle of the stripe, and 45 on the right side of the stripe. What I did in terms of this video, I turned the ball around so its stripes are basically facing you, and then you could make an adjustment accordingly. Again, these are aim lines, so when you're aiming from a half tip offset from the cue ball to one of these lines, you would aim at this line and then go to center cue ball to shoot. So here we are with the 15. This is a kind of a standard shot just to show you the cuts. Now I'm coming in, I'm going to come in from a left, what they call, I have it listed as a left sweep. It's really not sweeping in, I'm coming in from the left side because it's a cut. I usually come in from the opposite of the cut. So what I'll do is I'll aim for that left side of that stripe, which is the 15-degree mark, or A, and then bring it over to center. So you see the pivot? So in other words, I'm aiming right now from a half a tip offset on the cue ball right to that 15-degree area, bringing it over to center. All it is a little half a tip movement, and then I just shoot the ball right in. Now the stripes are facing the cue ball, facing the pocket. So here's a graphic that you can look at, and you could look at these graphics. There's several graphics in the video that you can look at and get an idea of what I'm actually doing. So it'll make it easy for you. As a beginner, it's not easy to work the system. You have to kind of work it like anything else. But once you get the hang of it, as far as the degrees, the only way you come basically off a miss is when you maybe figure out that one's a 15-degree, which is not a 15, maybe it's a 30-degree cut, so you can miss that way. But in generally, most of the shots that you see on the table are going to be 15 to 30 degrees. That's A and B. So here's another shot. This is going to be a similar shot, probably a B in the corner. What we're going to look at is coming in from the left side. I call it a kind of a left sweep, but it's just coming in from the left side, hitting at B, bring it right in. Here's a graphic. So when you start to shoot like this, you kind of line up the ball. Your bridge hand should be behind the cue ball, kind of lined up for the shot. As you can see, the left side of that stripe would be A, B, and C. So I'm kind of aiming for the B, straight in. You might even get it in on a C, which is 45, but I don't think it's that much of a cut. So it's really kind of a I would say just a standard 30%. I'm coming in from the left side, bring it right to center, boom. a graphic on it. Traditionally, you're going to just go back to the half tip offset on the cue ball. Once you get that half tip offset, you're aiming at the ball. So here's your typical ghost ball situation. So you have the 7 ball, which is really where the cue is going to end up being if you're using ghost ball. So as a beginner, this is where your cue ball has to be at. So a lot of beginners make the mistake, unfortunately, when they start off, because it's just, it's just different. They're aiming at the 13, but coming from this direction. You really have to aim to this direction, where that 7 ball is at. So they'll say, well, I hit the 13, but you just didn't hit it at the angle that you're supposed to hit, which is this area. So what you got to do, in other words, you have to hit it at that spot, not where the 13 is just facing you. So when you have the setup like on CTE, I'm aiming for that, what I consider the B. I'm going to bring my stick over. Now this is on a right sweep. I would say right to left. So I'm starting off the right side, moving it over to the left side now. And there's a graphic on it. In the captions and these descriptions, I usually say it's a sweep. It's really kind of just moving into the ball. And here's the 14 ball, just going into the corner. So I'm shooting opposite a cut. I'm coming in from the right side to the left side. So I'll be on the right side of that center cue ball, aiming for, in this case, it looks like a 30%. Coming in. I'm going to just switch around the dot, and also I made the 14 ball the stripe facing the pocket. I'm going to come in, go right to center, aim for that B, then go to center, pivot over. It's only half a tip, pivot over, and that's it. You got to trust the pivot, as I mentioned in many other videos. It's something that you really have to just kind of trust that the ball's set up, and it will go in based on the calculations if it's correct. So here we have a nice, very deep cut. This is a 1/8 cut. So if I wanted to go into the side pocket, I'm aiming coming in from the left side to the right side. I'm aiming for the 1/8 marker, which is a little dot on the right side of that object ball, and then bringing it over to center and shooting it right in. Obviously, it takes a lot of practice to get some of those shots in. Once you start getting acclimated into the system, then it's relatively rote. You're going to do it every single time. Of course, like I said, the only way you're going to miss is if you figure out one's a 15-degree hit when it's really like a 30. In most cases, the pocket's a little bigger than, obviously, bigger than the balls, so you get some latitude. But in some cases, it just doesn't work, and I'll show you in the next shot or two that this is what happens. This is a straight-up shot, so it's a little bit of an angle. So I'll be aiming at the 15-degree on the A side. Now, the A side, whether you shoot on this side of the table or the other side of the table, it's still going to be A and B looking at you, A, B, C looking at you, or ABC looking at the pocket, so it doesn't change from CBA or any of that stuff. It's always going to be the same, just like a read alphabet in any kind of book. It's always going to be the same ABC facing the pocket, and so C is going to be on the right side, although C can still become a 15 if it's the other way around. Relatively easy shot. So here we have a 14 ball, this 14 ball coming up straight up, and this is what I'm talking about. So I'm looking at this. It looks like to me it's a 30% cut, which it could be. Just maybe you just you take an evaluation of what degrees to the pocket it is. I'm hitting it into the cue ball, right into that B area. So I'm coming in from the left side. Left side means left side of the center cue ball spot. So in other words, when I say left side, it's a half a tip over on the left side of the middle of the cue ball, hitting into the B, then pivoting over. So you hit the rail there, and maybe a little hard. In any case, this is when you have to make an adjustment. So you could come back with the shot and say, why did I miss that shot? And the thing is that maybe it's possibly not a B. Maybe it's more of a 45-degree because of the cut. So in this case, I'm going to change over to a C, or 45-degree spot, Now I'm aiming from again the left side of the cue ball, just half a tip over from center, bringing the cue to center, aiming for the C, and there you go, right in. When you're starting on these things, it's again, you'll have to take a lot of time to get acclimated to the ABCs and 15 degrees and 30 degrees, but it's not complicated. After a while, you get used to it. So here we have a 9 balls on the spot. The cue ball is on the next spot down. It's about 1 foot apart, straight up in the middle of the table. Some of the camera angles kind of like make it a little difficult to realize the shot, but it's a nice cut. This is going to be right in the corner. I was aiming at the C on that one and put it right away. So I took away the stripe for a second just to give you, so you have to visualize this on your own when you're right there. So don't forget, it's still the same thing. The ball's broken up in 3 areas, A, B, and C, all equal, all the same lines, equal from the ball. So B's in the middle, and of course the same distances from A and C. This is actually a B shot. So I'm just going to aim right in the middle, coming in from the right side to the left side, aiming a little bit off the tip, half tip offset, boom. Alright, so now we have a cue ball is on the spot. 15 ball looks like it's pretty close to the diamond, and this is a 1/8. It's what do you call it? A one-line visual. So when you're really doing a kind of shot like this, it's usually one line. Don't forget, in traditional CTE, you have to kind of use 2 lines to visualize the shot. I generally use 1 line, but they call it a one-line visual in any case. But you are still doing basically the same thing. So I'm coming in, thin is in, so I'm coming in from the right side to the left side. I'm going to be at a half a tip from the center cue ball, aiming at that 1/8 marker, then bringing the stick over a little bit to the left, into center, boom, done. Here's the graphic, you should examine that. So here we have a ball that's into the corner. It's going to move right to the corner, so on the left side, moving to the right. It's probably a cut that's all the way into the edge of the ball. So there you are. You have that shot right there. And here's another shot from the object ball. The 12, I believe, is on the spot. The cue ball is 1 foot behind on the other diamond, so it's straight up and down. And so you have that. Now it's going to be an A, I believe, hitting on the left side. A. That's 15. Just about made it in, but it's in. And here's the graphic on it. Here's another shot to the corner, and it's just a nice cut. These are the kind of shots you can do in CTE if you get stuck. Sometimes you just can't shoot from the side. It would be easy. Maybe you have to do the corner, and you just got to measure up. And it kind of like the system makes it go in by itself. It's almost a miracle. So that's it. Please subscribe, and see you on the next trip. I hope that you liked the video. See you next round.